Okay, so this brings us to Night Mail, and I really like Night Mail. I think it's extremely artistic and a great example of the documentary filmmaking of the day, and I think this is the penultimate achievement of John Grierson during this period of the 1930s in Britain before he went to Canada to establish the National Film Board there. So Night Mail, definitely the most successful and famous documentary of the era. And it was a little hard for me to find this online. If you go to YouTube and you just search for Night Mail, you get some short clips. Night Mail documentary. You get some short clips. We can see 3 minutes here and there. But luckily, I did have a file of the full movie, and the version that I'm going to show you actually has an intro by Alec Baldwin, which is interesting. You can see this is part of the
1930s. There was some
part of a TV special, and he gives a little introduction to the movie also, which is very interesting. So, Night Mail, the most successful and famous documentary of the era, and it was a real collaboration also, not only between creative filmmakers, but also the poet W.B. Auden, the famous British poet. The movie features one of his poems that is sort of delivered to the rhythm of the music. I once read, I think someone called it the very first rap song, which is kind of funny. 1936, a rap song in a John Grierson documentary. So the film is about a Scottish post office train that carries mail from London to Glasgow. And you know, if you were hired to make a documentary about the post office, you know, how would you go about it? That's what this is about, and we're very familiar now with John Grierson's goal of increasing, just bettering society using film to educate. So the focus is on the human aspect, everyday citizens performing a job. That was the overarching goal. And always, and this is the Great Depression, and increasing morale of the people who would see this movie and feel good about their post office. Grierson wanted to boost morale and facilitate communication by painting a positive picture of the mail operation. And also, and they say that the workers are the people that appear are the actual workers, but when you watch it, you'll definitely get a sense that these are reenactments. You know, there's clearly cameras, a camera, a bunch of lights there, and you know, we get sync dialogue. Actually, I don't think the dialogue was recorded in sync. It might have been recorded after the fact through ADR, automated dialogue replacement, which is very common in movies, because sometimes the sound that you get on set isn't a high enough quality, so you re-record the sound later in the studio, and that gives you the higher quality version. So take a look at the reenactments of the workers and listen to the audio. And again, think about that layered audio. So Night Mail was a collaboration between Grierson, Basil Wright, who he worked with on Song of Ceylon, Harry Watt, music composer Benjamin Britten, and poet W.H. Auden. I think earlier I said W.B. It's actually W.H. Auden. Famous poet who delivers this poem that almost seems like a rap song because it's sort of done to the music. And an interesting kind of funny thing is that you could find I think there was even a band that did a version of the song, and it's kind of interesting to find some of those. Let me just play a little bit of the beginning of this.
8:30 p.m. Weekdays and Sundays. The Down Postal Special leaves Euston for Glasgow, Edinburgh, and Aberdeen.
So isn't that great? You know, shots, these are high quality shots from the movie, and you know, the pieces of the soundtrack, and I think if I come up here we'll hear the song that starts.
This is the Night Mail crossing the border, bringing the check and the postal order. Letters for the rich, letters for the poor, the shop with the corn or the girl next door.
I always love to see old footage, old movies sort of repurposed and updated, and that's one great thing about YouTube is we get fan-made stuff all the time. But that's one really noteworthy thing about the movie is that it has this poem that's sort of delivered as if it's a song. So yeah, you can check all of these out after you watch the movie. But I hope you enjoy it, and at the end there'll be a discussion, a non-graded optional discussion where you can post any of your thoughts and impression on today's movies. And this will wrap up our day of class on this period, 1930s Britain, and I hope you enjoy Night Mail.